Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos, the podcast for geniuses, the only podcast where we take a look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I'm Tom in Anime Sicko.
I'm Joe in Anime Sicko.
Two real quick things before we get into the meat of this episode I want to do. One, some people have been misinterpreting our preamble where we say the podcast for geniuses, the only podcast where we talk about et cetera, et cetera. We're not the only podcast where we talk about anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. We talk about anime, gaming, posting, and jobs, and also are the only podcast.
We invented this.
Yeah, there hasn't been another one that got made since either.
Yeah, just like how Freud got to make up all the brain stuff that we accept as real just because he was the first one. Just like we're inventing the rules of podcasting.
Yeah, like there has never been another one, and there won't be more because we shut the door behind us. So yeah, just I want to make that clear. So that's on the record now. Next, we want to thank some new patrons who have supported the only podcast with their dollars, which is to me a wild choice to make, but they've done it. So here I am thanking them. Thanks to our patron Winnie, who Joe, once again, you do realize that the money, like it's you, like
the number goes up,
Sickos.
Dude. The number goes up. So before, whatever Winnie gave monthly, the number was smaller, and now we're both in a higher state of consciousness because there's a web page associated with us. It's got a bigger number.
I guess so. Another patron who we haven't yet shouted out is Rain Clar. Rain has been a big champion of ours on Twitter. They've been a real hero. So thank you for giving us money. And also thank you to new patron Whitney Reynolds, who, man, speaking of someone shouting us out on Twitter, fucking Whitney has been listening to the Anime Sickos back catalog, and they have been doing what is not an exaggeration of my favorite thing in the universe, which is saying that something we said is funny.
Yeah.
Like it's better than any drug. I'd rather starve than not have that happen. So thank you for making that happen, and also giving us money, which is like, wow, that's a 1-2
punch.
So Joe, before we get into the questions and answers, because this is going to be a Q&A episode where we answer our listeners' questions, I just want to do a quick check-in. How you feeling? How's your pandemic brain? Where you at, my buddy?
It's pretty good. I sort of feel like I accidentally hacked my brain to not worry about the virus. And the way I've done that is I got out of a really, really bad depression. So I actually don't know how I would feel. I feel better, right? But I don't know what better feels without a pandemic. So in a way, I just don't have to feel and experience that negative mood drop from the pandemic. It's just baked in.
I gotta say, it was very adorable when this phase of your brain began, and you were like sending me messages that were like, "Yo, like I'm feeling really sad about the virus. Like, what's the deal about this? Like, I'm feeling like scared, dude." And then you were like, and he's like, "Did you know that like the government hasn't been like taking care of people? Like, I'm mad, dude. I'm really mad." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah.
That part is true. Like, obviously, I was very much aware of everything that's happening and not happening. But as my brain kind of came online, I was like, that kind of pisses me off. And I felt like I felt anger for the first time in a while. And it you feel like an idiot when you're like, can I talk about the thing we've thought about a lot? I just got around to it. I'm starting to think it's real bad.
Well, I'm glad you're here now.
Yeah.
It's good to know that you've caught up.
Yeah, it's good. The other thing that having a better brain has made me realize is that I love JRPGs. I've been playing the new Yakuza game, which is a JRPG, which, look, making it like that is a bold choice, but like the act of playing it, I'm like 30 hours in now. I knew it was a JRPG at the start, but like there's something about like getting introduced to like the 20th mini game and like the weird intricate system, and then still having a JRPG feel, and you're like, oh, they fucking went for it, huh? Like they really did They did it, huh?
You told me about, just before we started recording, a fun little scenario where a voice line that gets played after a debuff expires on a party member.
Yeah.
When it got played in a funny situation. Can you tell that story again?
Yeah. The shortest version of it is Adachi, the character, when a debuff leaves him, he says, "I'm back in my prime, baby." What happens? What happened to me is he said that as a stun got removed because he was hit by a wrecking ball. So he was crushed by a piece of construction equipment and thrown very far. At which case he immediately says, "I'm back in my prime, baby," and that's like the jank that you play video games for.
To be clear, the reason that the game is a JRPG is because, like,
it's the correct way to do it. All the other ones should have been like this. They fucked up.
I meant, like, the narrative justification is that, like, the main guy would like it if his fights were like that. So he does make believe.
As much as it is like make believe, at the start it's funny because he's just like, yeah, when I get stressed and I'm in a fight, I think about Dragon Quest, and the simplicity and like dumb guyness of that I really appreciated. Like, it's not a huge insane delusion where everything is not the way it seems. It's just like, when I get stressed, I thought about those menus.
Yeah. When I'm like, what kind of punch am I going to throw? And it's like, well, okay, I could just sort of panic and flail, or I could be like, well, I know how to like do 5 kinds of moves that I trained in, and what if they were in a menu? That'd be pretty cool. And sometimes I get tired when I fight too much. What if, I were to arbitrarily assign like a skill point value to all my moves, and imagine a bar that went up and down. Oh, actually, holy shit. I was like play acting as that guy, but now I'm into it. Now I want that.
All the friends have like a homie bar, okay?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And the way you unlock new levels of the homie bar is that you go to the bar and you listen to their problems.
Jesus Christ.
Dude. Yeah, it's really good. They kind of had a similar thing in Yakuza 6, but it was tied to this thing where Kiryu is managing a minor league baseball team that I didn't care about.
This is like, I've sort of gotten on that JRPG train because I played through Persona 5. Now I'm playing through Persona 4 on the PC. And like, they're fine. They're good. But the thing that I actually really love is the social links, is when you go to one of your homies and you hang out and they like tell you a little story and you see a little bit of their life and you don't say anything because you're a fucking silent protagonist, so you're just standing there like an idiot, and then a little bar goes up that shows like your homiedom increased. I think part of why that's so fucking delicious now is that like that's the thing I want to do in real life more than anything.
Yeah. It's like,
all of my fucking homie bars have been going down all year.
Yeah, I like in Persona, I need to be able to go to, I don't know, your modeling gig and tell you not to be nervous, and then you like me more as a result.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the fucking questions and answers. We can't talk about JRPGs all the time unless someone asks us about them, which I think someone has. But our delightful listeners, Joe, we couldn't have a show without listeners. That's not true. We could, but it would be way worse.
It would. I don't know. Probably feel like the other projects.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Let's give our listeners the goodies they want. These are what they want us to talk about, and so we will. Our first question is from noted homie, previous guesto, and big-time sicko booster, Quinn Welsh Wilson, who lives in hell, where a maniac who is their landlord does real terrorism to try to drive them out of the home so that they can convert it into a subway or something.
Yeah, my understanding is that the landlord shrunk them all down and put them in a drum, and every day he plays the drum. That sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's real bad. But maybe we can make Quinn's day a little better by answering this question, which is, why, when anime gets horny, do they do that weird boob blush effect? I guess Quinn thinks that we produce anime and make these decisions. I don't know, dude.
Oh, I that question did not come across my desk. And if it did, you wouldn't be seeing it so much. Well, I don't know why, like, shiny is the the erotic texture on it's really bad.
I don't know if you've watched any Food Wars since we discussed it on an early episode.
That's a shiny show.
Oh man, so there's one character, Mito-san, who her sort of like classic outfit is that she's just wearing a bikini top, and her titties, and I don't need to tell you this, are humongous. They are spherical. And so she's wearing a little bikini top. It's not a bikini top that you would wear in normal life that would actually support a human breast. This is a little teeny tiny one. And so obviously there's plenty of exposed boob that they are down to apply the blush effect to, except like she, after her initial arc, is sort of like a background character, so they don't spend a lot of money animating her. And so what happens is that these little boob blushes end up looking like nothing so much as boils, as like huge whiteheads.
Oh no.
It like once you realize like that kind of looks like she's got like a huge inflamed zit on her boobs, you're done. That's what it is forever now.
I need to see that because that might finally like end any like need of wanting to see Anne boob. It's just gone now. That'll just finally snuff out the coals.
Joe, I actually found an image right now of exactly what I'm talking about. I'm dropping it in the chat. What do you think of that?
It doesn't look like blush. It looks like she was cooking bacon and like there was too much grease and it splashed up into her chest, making it shiny.
But you do see how the white in the middle, it looks like a zit. It looks like she got
so I did
zits.
the magic eye thing and now I only see it that way. Oh, that's fucked up. That's bad. Also, because of it's elongated, it also could read as pus.
Yeah, it's quite bad. It's the opposite of enticing and erotic, and it's quite awful. I think, honestly, the crux of why this sucks so much shit is that, like, when they put horny into anime, it's never, like, vintage artisanal horny. It's always like a big bucket that they got at Home Depot. They're like, this is good enough, right? This is like fine, right? Like Dorohedoro is so horny. Like it's the horniest show that has ever been made. But like it doesn't disgust as much as this boob blush shit because it is like an artisanal horny that was created by Kyu Hayashida for Kyu Hayashida and no one else.
Yes. Yeah. Everything follows like an internal logic. There isn't just a big buff woman who's the best homie because that's the fetish. Yes, but it's like grounded in the story in a meaningful way. And everyone's a freak. There's mosquito people. It's a nightmare. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's a world that was designed with really strong intentions in mind, and part of it was that all women are extremely thick and they sit on my head and crush it.
It's kind of an R. Crumb thing a little bit. We're just like, I love when ladies with their huge quads give me piggyback rides.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Quinn, I don't know. Moving on. Next up, we have a question from Socrates. I'd like to imagine it is the Greek philosopher. I know it isn't. I've corresponded with this person. They are alive now. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, is not. But Socrates asks, can we get an update on the other Joe that is ruining Sicko Joe's life by existing?
There isn't anything new, but I did today have to explain the whole situation to someone. I was like, hey, I need you to send me something, but you haven't sent emails either, Joe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get in there first so the autocomplete happens correctly. And when I explained what has happened, they were like, wow. Like, have you tried looking into it? And I'm like, yeah, it fucking sucks.
I love when you explain a problem that's been occurring to you for a long time to someone. They're like, "Oh, have you tried the first thing I thought of?" And it's like,
the thing that drives me nuts because it just like assumes like how you just sit T-posing, not having thoughts, right? And then suddenly you have to spring into action. That's what I am.
There's a guy at my work who's named Tom, who has a completely different last name that starts with an R. And he works on like a different department from me. And sometimes I get like emails that are intended for him and vice versa. But like that, we can sort of be like, we're both named Tom. But like clearly it's a different last name. And the person who sends it is like, oh, my bad. Obviously, I made a boo-boo. You don't have that. If you're like, actually, you sent it to the wrong person, it's just like, no, I didn't. Joe. It's Joe A.
And it's my fault that there's this other guy.
All right. So Socrates has asked 2 questions. I want to answer this one because I like this question. Also, because Socrates wrote us an email and said that we were good writers, which made me feel really, really
I didn't
happy.
know this.
Yeah, I haven't shown you. It's recent. It was after our most recent newsletter. And Socrates asks again, how can Tom stand to read One Piece? What am I missing besides a soul?
Oh,
I mean, like, here's the thing about like One Piece is that a lot of like anime, you need to like have a big pitch and like explain the appeal. Like, honestly, like One Piece to me is the one that is the least complicated. It's like it really just is what it is. It's like, hey, like comic books, like little jokes and funny characters and adventure. Like, you like those things, right? Like, well, this is just the best one of that. Like, there's no gimmick. It's just like, hey, shonen manga, like this is that. There's nothing groundbreaking. It just is, of all of them, it's the goodest. And so like there's like nothing to explain. There's no switch to flick. Like, if you don't hit, you don't hit.
I will also add, at least the manga, it doesn't look manga-y. It looks like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it's Disney shit. It's goofy.
And I don't know, like it doesn't look like how to draw manga faces, I guess, and that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people do that gag, that meme where it's like, yo, watch One Piece, bro, gets really good after episode 900. Haha, very funny. Like, it's long, I get it, but like, I don't know, like it's good at episode 1. Like, if you don't click with it, like don't worry about it. Like, it's just a fucking story. It's just the best shonen manga. It just is the goodest. Like, that's all there is to it. No secrets.
Yeah, but brains are dumb. So like the same type of story, just instead of pirates, about some other flavor that you might gel with. Maybe that's just what you're waiting for.
Yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, like what One Piece, it's just, all it is like, what if there was adventure? What if there was goofy characters? What if there was tragic characters? What if there was funny stuff? What if there was serious stuff? What if there was a cool world building? And what if there was a big piece of cartoon meat? And it's like, the answer is that all that would be good. And it's like, cool, I'm going to cycle through them endlessly. But each cycle is going to be richer than the last for having previous cycles to draw upon. To strengthen the effect. I'm like, that sounds pretty good. And it does. And yeah.
I will add the caveat, just it's such a big brain move to have a story constructed in such a way that you can just be like, well, now there's a different fucking island, and it's way different. Yeah. He made it easy for himself. I'm not saying what he does is easy. I'm saying that is a wonderful tactical choice.
Yeah. And also, like, I think one thing, I know this sort of contradicts exactly what I've said, but one, like, explanation that might help, like, onboard people better is that, like, the beginning is kind of low stakes because Luffy has to start as, like, a dumb idiot who's weak and can't possibly be the king of the pirates because he has to, like, get better. And, like, that's why the length is actually, like, really good because, like, he gets better at an actual pace that makes sense. And so, like, the first couple arcs, he's fighting, like, the dope patrol and having, like, a hard time.
Yeah, there was a butler with knives on his hands.
Yeah, that butler gave Luffy quite a trouble. But, I don't know. It's just fucking fun. If you're reading the butler arc and you're like, I don't give a shit about this, if you get to Arlong Park and you're like, I don't care about Nami, then, like, whatever, it's just a fucking comic. Don't read it. All right, let's go to the next one. This one is from Vizsla826. This is a big sicko homie. We talked to this homie on Twitter.
Hell yeah.
This homie came to movie nights when we used to do them. Here's Wisła's
before the
question.
rot set in.
Yeah, the rot is strong and deep. The question goes thusly. Have you ever come to the realization that you don't need to care about the latest things and try to be current, unless it's your job? Outside of posting in politics, of course, everyone needs to care about those. Admitting to myself that I can't get into hip-hop and that I really don't need to have or care about new stuff and can just listen to Limp Bizkit, Steely Dan, and Coil and read old comics, watch old movies, and play old games is very freeing, and anyone should do it.
So, I like this big Limp Bizkit sort of revival that's happening online. I've seen a lot of really good pro Limp Bizkit memes. I have no idea what level of irony they're on, but first of all, I want to just address that. That's good. I would like to see more Limp Bizkit memes. To answer the question more directly, so I went through this phase where I would read a lot about gaming news, but also never play games because I was too busy or working all the time. And weirdly enough, once I stopped compulsively consuming new information about what's coming out, and you can do that with indie titles especially because you're I like weird indie games, there's always something happening. If you stop doing that, and I just was well, what I have actually in front of me, I stopped caring as much, and I just kind of played or read what was in front of me. And now I think the most fun, or I'd say the most aesthetically appealing experience is, instead of going by what's latest or whatever, just kind of have what your friends or close confidants are doing, just sort of kind of give you little pushes in certain directions. I think that's better than worrying about the latest stuff.
This, to me, I think is actually a crucial part of sicko mindset, the brain genius, brain god mindset that frees you from the consumption hell. You'll recall that sicko mindset is basically to understand that all media at its core is bad because it was made by people who are all idiots. And knowing that prevents you from deifying any specific work, which prevents you from joining a fandom. And fandoms are exactly what fucking Wisła is talking. They're the trap that they have gotten away from. Fandoms force you to no, you have to keep looking at this shit. I mean, fucking push your head into it. You want to look at something else? No, you've made this your identity. You deify this, you bitch. And even if it's a fandom where they disrespect the original work and it's we just remix it. And it's yeah, but you're still immersed in it, and it's still an obligation for you to continue to work in this fucking milieu. Whereas if you're just fucking whatever, dude, you can play Persona 4 in 2020. And just chill. You can play Sekiro a year after everyone got tired of it, and there's no one to talk to you about it except fucking Quinn.
Yeah.
One thing that I do want to speak out against, though, is the fucking Star Wars prequel revival. About how there's now they're getting a reassessment and people think they're good now. I'm sorry.
This is a really bad allocation of resources. We need to funnel energy completely at the Limp Bizkit stuff. Yeah. We don't have capacity to do both of those things.
Star Wars prequels are really fucking boring. They're weird and lumpy and boring. Limp Bizkit's funny. Limp Bizkit is goofy. Have you seen that guy who does the singing? He looks funny.
I just now had a Mind Palace meme that I saw about Limp Bizkit. You know the meme of the guy shaking the champagne and spraying it everywhere, and it's revealed he's on the third place pedestal and he looks like an asshole.
Yeah.
Someone changed it so the person was Limp Bizkit, but also they were winning. And yeah, that's good.
Fred Durst keeps winning, folks. He just keeps winning. Okay. Nice question. It's from Jordan Erickson, another big homie and sicko booster. Jordan asks, oh man, this is a hell of a question. Oh, this might be an unanswerable question. Asking this question feels like I've just been made to fucking push the Sisyphus rock up a big hill. The question is, what is the worst post of 2020?
Fuck.
Well, this is difficult partially because how am I supposed to fucking know when 2020 started, dude? 2020 has never. I used to make a joke that it was always 2016. That was wrong. It was always 2020.
Yes. Is that what the tweet bookmark feature is for? So you can like look back and like just feel like you lived in the past months?
I mean, maybe. I actually haven't looked at my fucking tweet bookmarks for a long time.
Okay, so I thought about it, and I think I think the one where Gina Tolentino came out and was like, "Yes, my family does human trafficking. Everything. It's really hard on us."
Yeah, stop. Like, it's really rude that the dirtbag leftists are being mean to me simply because my parents trafficked human beings.
That I think was it. I was put on my "they live" glasses, folks. Like they were going on, and because everyone was like, "Yeah, that's really sucks that people are bullying and really so rude to you." And then I found the court document and I read the whole thing, and I was like, "This is not like a misunderstanding." There's logistics involved here, and having read that, and also knowing that a lot of the people who were probably like, "Oh, it's fine, cheer up," they also didn't read it.
This account, none of their tweets are themselves that bad, but I mean, just taken as a whole, the urv of this fucking account comes out to be the worst. Like the average badness of each post is the worst of any account, because every post is bad. None of them are the worst ever, but there's none of them are ever not bad. And of course I'm talking about the fucking account that we did a whole segment about, Duchess Goldblatt. Oh man, Joe, Duchess Goldblatt has not fucking slowed down in saying just the most baffling non-jokes. It's ridiculous. And let me give you some bad ones. Here's one from December 13th. Where is everyone? Where are all my show ponies? That's it. There's not more.
Because she's rich. That's cool. Well, actually, I like that one because she's alone.
I mean, you think that, but like, Joe, you got to understand that what this is really doing is she's just like activating her henchmen. She's like, hello, please sexualize me, a fictional old lady. And then like a million people like, I'm here, Your Grace. I do anything. You
can't force reply guys. They happen easily. Like they happen easily, and this is an artificial reply guy formula.
Ugh, it's so bad. Joe, she retweeted this reply, which, oh man, I hate this. Like, not only do I hate that this happened, but I hate that she retweeted it and is like smug about it. So one of her awful reply guys says, my partner always thought my Duchess Goldblatt talk was a charming quirk. Then he read the book this summer and is now a complete convert, asking me humbly about the rights and courtesies.
Okay, for sure, like someone from the publishing company was like, make sure you tweet this. But maybe not. Because they all talk like that when they reply. That was just a very verbose one.
Oh my god! And this is very fucking similar to the "Where is everyone?" This is just a tweet. This is the only tweet that Duchess Goldblatt tweeted that day. All right, everyone, settle down. I'm home.
Smithers. I'm home. Yes. And everyone laughs for 90 minutes. Actually, I have another example. I think of a very bad tweet that is up there for 2020.
Give me.
And the reason it sounds like I'm doing a goof here, but this is why. The tweet where Bolsonaro posted a dumb video of himself, and the video was sideways, and he was very wide, and it was just like insane looking while music played, and he looked like he was wearing like the big David Byrne suit. I think that's an awful tweet because like he's an insane murder man, and like I can't stop thinking about him, and like literally, if I'm not careful, I have to like check my perception's relationship with that entity in my mind, because I'm like, oh, that guy's got an election coming up. It works out for him. Oh wait. Oh shit. No wait.
Yeah, like, oh, Bolsonaro. Oh, you mean the comedian who I really appreciate and I love dearly. I want more of his funny content.
Oh, no, he's the guy who single-handedly shaved 10 years off the planet's life by burning the rainforest. My bad.
Another bad one, another bad fucking tweet. that you just reminded me of. We've talked about this before, but it's the Bolsonaro tweet where like some Wall Street Journal columnist, someone who's paid to have opinions and share his informed opinions with the uninformed public so that they can be bettered by having read his opinions, was like, damn, Bolsonaro and Lula, they both love Brazil so much. You can really tell. I hope they both have a good time this next election. I wish them both, I hope they have fun.
Like, that's just a dressed up version of Brazil is a land of contrasts. That's all that is.
Man, the worst post of 2020 is really an unanswerable question. Like, I'm sure what's going to happen is as soon as we stop this episode, we're going to think of 1,000 things that are way worse. But I don't know. Just living in the world is just getting buried by terrible posts. It's hard to tell them apart.
Wait, was the Zenny post this year where she said, homie, what set you from? Zenny Jardin, was that this year? Because that was pretty bad.
Oh, God, she said a bunch of stupid shit. She said some all-timer terrible posts this year.
Yeah, like, you're jealous of me because I did coke with Motorhead when I was 9.
Yeah, like, how dare you step to me on this Twitter post by saying that what I just said was dumb. She was like, oh, yo, Tara Reid, the woman who accused Biden of sexual assault, is Satan. She's hell on earth, and all women who believe her are traitors. And someone was like, hey, don't say that. And she's like, I can't believe you got the balls to step to me, who when I was 9 ran away from home and lived in a bombed out warehouse with Lemmy, who would make me drink lots of Jägermeister every night. And it's like, that's not good, Zenny. Like, that's it's not relevant, and it's also bad. Like, are you okay? Do you need help? Like, you need me to call someone for you?
That's a really good debate technique too, because the person goes from arguing with you to trying to help you.
It's like, why did Lemmy continue to give you more coke? Like, why didn't Lemmy tell you to go home?
Do I need to call him?
It's like, is Lemmy canceled? Like, I was sad when he died, but should I not have been? Fuck. Well, moving on. We gotta move on. We gotta move on. We can't focus on this. Oh man. From Marquez, previous guesto and great homie of ours. Marquez asks, does Big Sludge wear a small hat?
It's not small enough. It's not small enough.
I mean, it's little, but like,
it should be as his rage builds, it should scale inversely to hat size is how it should work. But they don't do it.
I don't think there is a smallness that is appropriate. Like, I don't think it's like the fucking infinity powers from Jujutsu Kaisen, where like you can get closer and closer to hitting Gojo Sensei, but you'll never actually hit him because there's an infinite amount of discrete movements you can make.
I'm like basically current on that shit, and I still don't understand what the fuck he does. One of his moves, he makes purple. Is that true, Tom?
Yeah, he has the red and the purple, and then I think he had the blue. What are they? Hard to tell.
They're very bad. That is a good question, Marquez. Marquez actually was the last guest we had in studio. If you go back in our timeline, and if you think of this podcast as actually an apocalyptic narrative, we find out about the virus on Marquez's episode, basically.
Yeah, that's the event, capital E event, has occurred, but it hasn't, like, the shoe hasn't dropped yet. And, like, that's the episode where we did the classic segment where we talked about the classic phrase, I'm crawling, to refer to just barely getting by. And we thought we were crawling then. We were soaring. Anyway.
No, yeah.
Marquez has another actual question, which is, what's a good short anime with a power system? Do they exist, or do I need to watch a 100-episode arc for the powers to be explained in every one?
Darker Than Black has 2 seasons. The first season, I think, is like pretty self-contained, and I think it's only 12 episodes. And I think
it's a 22er.
Oh, it's a 22er. I still think like the first season, if it is 22, that's self-contained because the power system is very, very neat. And it's both like, it's not nebulous, it's sort of concrete, but it has enough play to be interesting. And it's that does the amazing JRPG thing is suddenly there was something there that wasn't there before, and shit got different. And that thing is like there was a big star weird stars started showing up, and stars correspond to certain people. And if there's a star with you, you have a power. You have like a contract with this. And the thing is, what makes this show really fun is when you use your power, you have to then fulfill the terms of your contract, which are usually fucked up kinds of self-abuse. So like there was a lady who could like sing and like have sound waves that could stop your heart at the resonant frequency. But after she used it, she had to eat a bunch of cigarettes.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of this, and then something distracted me, and I never finished. I should get back on that train because, like, I love series where like the power systems are like explicitly like unbalanced. Like some powers just suck, and one thing that Darker Than Black does that's very fun is that basically the cost that you have to pay to activate your powers according to your contract, they like don't correspond to the strength of the power. Like you could have an incredibly high cost for a very low payoff. Similarly, you have a badass power and the cost that you have to pay is like basically nothing. It's very fun.
If I may be getting the details wrong, but the first sort of instance that the show shows you of it in action is like a guy who kind of floats and then he has to break two of his fingers.
Yeah, he has to break a finger every time he floats. And like it's unclear if he runs out of fingers or is he out or can he break the same finger twice, because we don't see that, but fuck, it's funny.
My understanding in the second season is he's lost his powers and he's a drunk, and I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, we don't know about that, but I was gonna say that I haven't watched all the way through, but God of High School, I believe is 13 episodes. And from what I hear, it's much like Tower of God in that it is based on a Korean comic, and part of that is that they're like, we got to adapt a lot of shit, and we're almost certainly not getting a season 2. So we just got to shove shit in at ridiculous pace and just cover dozens of chapters in a very small amount of episodes. And so what I've heard is it's all about one big tournament. And at first it seems like people just fight with like their hands, but then no, it starts getting crazy. Guys have stands, guys use magic spells, and yeah, definitely 13 episodes. So like, I don't know, maybe the high fast pace and adapting a lot of shit really quickly makes it like not good. I haven't watched it. I don't know. See, how could it be bad really? Like it's fucking fighting
at a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fuck. Now I want to watch God of High School. Maybe I will. We'll find out. All right, moving on. We're getting a question from Jacob at Gelatinous Egg on Twitter. I actually don't know this person, I don't think. Maybe I do. Maybe if I see their avatar, I'll know. Gelatinous Egg asks, please reveal your movesets. What color does your hair turn when you power up? What are your approximate power levels? Which one of you is better at surpassing limits and or breaking limiters?
I am the Usopp thing where the big twist is he's always depressed. That's how I break my limits. It's just like, no, I can do this all day.
I was definitely going to say that Joe is definitely better than me at breaking limits, because his limits are like every other week they just sort of crash down like 1,000 feet and smush him. And so like all you have to do to break that limit is sort of raise your head a little bit.
But then sometimes I pass through the sky and I sit next to God, you know? This it makes it sound like I'm manic. I'm not manic. I have depression. I just get sad.
What color does my hair turn when I power up? Oh, gosh. I would definitely love to say like a light, like lilac purple, but probably it just fucking stays brown, dude. Like I'm not that powerful. Like my I definitely have like mostly C and D ranks in my ability scores.
I would go with white hair. I'm a simple bitch in many ways, and one of them is like, you're telling me that this is a teenager, but he's got white hair? Huh. Like that never fails to impress me, unfortunately.
Oh, gosh. Well, actually, this is an interesting thing that we could talk about. Back in the past, before I realized that I suck at this shit, I tried to make a JoJo's RPG. And part of that was I asked some homies, including Joe, to like think up like some stands that they would like. What would your stand be? Like, what stand do you want? So that I could like see if the game would allow that power to be like implemented in the actual gameplay. Turns out no, it's fucking hard. I can't do it. No one can make a JoJo's game.
But coming up with stands, that's really what the goal was.
Yeah,
just to sit around and think about stands.
So my stand, the stand that I would love to actually have in real life, would be called Wild Stallions, spelled with Y's, like from Bill and Ted. It would take the form of a sort of like Wild Hunt style herd of ghostly horse skeletons. These would be incorporeal, except for me. I could ride them, but no one else could touch them. They would just go through people. And the ability of Wild Stallions, other than just being a horse that I could ride, is that I could like load items onto the horses, and then they would start running through the sky and go into a portal and go back in time to where I was at a previous part in my life and give me those things. And it would work just like in Bill and Ted, where I would just be like, damn, I need a garbage can right now. And then Wild Stallions would come out of a portal and there would be that garbage can because in the future I did that. So that was my, like, that's the power I want. Think of how fucking dope that would be. Very, right?
Yeah, imagine if you're trying to make a game with that, the rules could be getting weird. It might be a tactical challenge.
What was your stand? I think it was called Man is the Bastard.
Was that what it was? I thought I had Big Boy Season.
Oh, you did. You invented Big Boy Season, but I think when we did the play test, you played Man is the Bastard.
I don't even remember what the powers were. I just love the name.
I think it was. It made things harder. It was the opposite of Spice Girl, which makes things softer.
Was it harder or heavier? I thought it just made things heavy.
Big Boy Season makes things heavier.
Oh yeah, see, you're right. I don't. You are already prepared to be the wiki for my dumb shit that I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is actually revealing a truth, which is Joe is like the hero, but his limits are constantly like lowering, like precipitously when we're like, oh no, this can't happen. We're in the middle of a fight. No, your limits are dropping. Oh fuck. And I am like the guy on the headset who like is giving you like, I'm looking at the readout and your enemy's power level is 9,000. Oh shit. Also, you're too depressed to talk to me today. fuck. Oh no.
Yeah, we watched Vampire Hunter D as a sicko movie night, and there's a bounty hunter squad, and one of the guys is like a very sad man who has to lay in his bed all the time, and then once in a while they give him an injection and he becomes like a powerful ghost, and like that's when I'm woken up to post.
Fuck. All right. We gotta move on. Next question. This is from Erica at Radish on Twitter. Erica, big time sicko homie. We love when Erica gives us good posts. Erica has turned a lot of folks onto the show, which is the real sicko way. So thank you.
Thank you
for doing it. Anyway, the question is, what were your first minimum wage jobs, and how did they lead you to the cog life?
My first minimum wage job was a Kohl's cashier in Crestwood, Illinois. That is the town that had a big scandal because the water filter system was fake and gave everybody cancer. Why the mayor pocketed money or something. I think that was the narrative. But anyway, that's where we were. What did it do? It sort of like quickly addressed that like the average human person is like not capable of like trying to understand another person in front of them like ever. which is a trend that I've seen continue to happen even as I started to make more money.
My first minimum wage job was, I've talked about this on the show before. I worked as a sort of general issue handyman, which is funny because I'm not handy, for a local Catholic school. And the first thing I was ever paid for, was I was told to power wash the disgusting little carpet mats that are in all the halls of the school. And that was the best thing I ever did, and my whole life has been a big disappointment since. I don't think that really like has led to anything. That was just something I did for like a fucking year and a half, and then I just was like, I don't want to do this, and I said I wasn't going to show up anymore, and then I didn't. But I do want to talk about how I slid into the actual like office-y cog world, because what happened was there is a company that does not exist anymore that was hiring people that were called data analysts. Now, this was a fake name because what the job actually was to be a little monkey and press a green button when it right and a red button when it wrong. They legit had this piece of software that was written in like 2005 that didn't work. And what it would do is it would have a bunch of products that a company had given us that they wanted to know who was selling them on the internet. And you would click on one of these products and you would click on a specific site that they wanted to know, is this site selling a product? And you would be shown the search results for that fucking site for that product. And if it was the product, you would press the green button. If it was not the product, you press the red button.
And you called yourself an analyst?
Yeah, dude. And here's the thing. So, like, all these clients get, like, weekly reports. And, when you get a weekly report, you want that report to, like, have new information, like, from the last week. What was the only mechanism that provided new information? It was the monkeys who pressed the green button or red button. So I would have to click on every single product on the list for every website and click the green button or the red button for like 10 clients and just cycle through them endlessly. And it was the baby job that sucked. And so what happened was this company, which no longer exists, got acquired by another company, which is the one I now work for. I will not name it. Here's the deal, Joe. You might think, like, why would a company acquire another company? Probably because, like, they have critical personnel that they want to have work at their company, or maybe they've invented some new technology that would really help out.
Like, they heard that there's a company that's got really smart apes that press these two buttons all day, and they want to get their hands on those.
So the reason this company was acquired, legitimately, like this is the only reason. This company had contracts with consumer electronic companies that rhyme with Bloney and Blannon. And this company wanted to have contracts with Bloney and Blannon. So they bought the company because it was failing and not turning a profit and desperate. And so now this company has contracts with Bloney and Blannon. And what happened was, and here's what I learned, which is if you have a stupid, shitty job that no one cares about but does technically need to get completed, because a lot of fucking office jobs don't need to get completed, but this job did need to get completed. If you go to shut up and just do it and people know that you're going to do it and you don't ever talk to them, you just won't ever get fired. And that's why I what happened was they were like, oh, you're still pressing the green and red buttons? We actually turned that shit off 2 months ago. And I'm like, oh, damn, I can't believe it. And they're like, yeah, you're going to be doing this other thing now. I'm like, oh, cool. This is a little bit more complex. And they're like, well, not by much. And I just have kept doing that. And now I'm here.
The way I got into like a middle class income, going from that to my first office job, is I literally got a call back for an interview and I was funny on the phone. Like that was it. It sounds silly to like reduce it to that, but like literally like everything in my life as a result of the increased income and quality of life as a result of that can literally be traced back to that, which I'm saying this to hopefully dispel rumors that there's anything like a meritocracy.
All right, we got to move on to the next question. Okay. This is a question from Mads. Mads is a huge, long-time Sicko homie, and actually a Shuffle Quest homie. They were listening to Shuffle Quest way back from the very beginning, which is like, to me, like a lifetime platinum gold member status. So we got to answer this question. Will it help the secret project if we all put our filthy goblin hands in the air and give you our energy?
That's called likes.
Yeah, yes. Like that's likes and retweets. Yes. That's the only reason we're doing it.
You don't actually need to raise your hands, though. You can just start saying snuck and dick. You can do that. That'll give me power. I'll know you're doing that.
Jork and cock.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying snuckin' online now as a result of a dumb thing, and I've never felt more validated. Like I I think of how many hours of just displeasure studying to get my master's degree I've done, and it's just fucking dwarfed by people I don't know saying snuckin'. Like, it's so good.
I mean, like, from a real, like, a concrete perspective, chattering like a little rat and giving us your goblin energy won't actually help the secret project in a material way, because we've already done all the recording that we're gonna do. But in an abstract way, it is the core of it all, because, like, how did we know what sort of things would be funny to put in the secret project? Well, it's because all you little hogs slurped it up and oinked very loud. So we're like, that was the good part. And similarly, when it comes out, if we don't hear lots of loud oinking, like, that's 6 months of my life I threw into trash can. I need that spirit bomb energy.
Yeah, if there's not an adequate response, he's gonna taste the gun a little bit. He's not gonna like do it, but like he's gonna be like, "What is it?"
Let's move on. Ooh, boy, oh boy. This is a tough question because we are an anime podcast. This is from Ben Fisher asking, "What is your favorite piece of media that has bad politics?" Dude, like all anime.
Well, I can just say a recent one. I've done a lot of reading of Hajime no Ippo, the boxing anime. I didn't tell Tom this because I didn't want him to be upset, but the third big fight Ippo has to do is definitely a black American. And do they train his sparring partner by making him wear blackface? Yes. They do that, yes. There's also like a bunch of parts where they get like really weird race signs. See, it's just like, Ippo, just so you know, like their muscle density is very different. And it's like, what?
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, and I was like this is capital C canceled. But then they became friends, so I'm like, fuck.
Shit. It worked. It was good in the end. Fuck, Jesus Christ. I gotta say, one of the most like shockingly heinous and irredeemable pieces of media from like a moral perspective. And this really threw me for a loop because I was not expecting it. Was Bakuman, which is the manga about the production of manga. It's by the same creative team that did Death Note, where one guy writes it, one guy draws it. And Death Note, I don't even know this, is one of the more misogynist pieces of media ever. There's no women, and the only women are dumb, annoying idiots who want to do anything that demand tells them.
It's so blatant, like, it's amazing that you could still be surprised at this point, but it's like, whoo.
Yeah, it's fucked. So Death Note is a dark and disturbing world where the main character is an absolute evil fucking maniac, and our protagonist, he himself is sort of an amoral weirdo who will sacrifice anything for solving the case. So like, okay, maybe they just threw in some misogyny because they're very edgy and thought it would be appropriate. So maybe in this fun manga where they're teenage self-inserts who, write and draw manga and work their way up Shonen Jump's ranks and, make friends with other mangaka and, have friendly rivalries and, go through creative struggles. They're definitely not going to be a bunch of misogyny in that. Oh, actually, there's way more. It's, way worse. The fact that it's mundane makes it oh, shit, there's no justification. So often a woman in these children's lives will be like, hey, so you both don't go outside and have gone to the hospital numerous times. Maybe consider, making your life a little better. Go to bed. Maybe eat food. Have you tried doing that?
Have a grape.
And they're just no woman is capable of understanding the male urge to create great manga, and they don't understand what it takes. And the manga is very clear. The tone of the series is can you believe that stupid bitch? She's so wrong. How dare she?
Yeah, this was not a learning opportunity for them. It was oh, they got it on the first try.
Yeah. Also, there is a woman who is one of their mangaka rivals, and would you believe she falls for them because like I don't.
Both of them.
So I'm actually so demure. Well, one of them, dude, is the entire series. He's technically engaged because he has this girl in high school that he had a crush on but never talked to because he was too afraid. But when he graduated, he went to her and said, "I love you. Let's get married." And she's like, "Oh yes, but only when we both have achieved our dreams, you becoming a manga artist and me becoming a voice actress. Then, one day, when we have both achieved our dreams, we will get married. But until then, we'll never speak." And everyone's like, damn, that's so fucking romantic. Every time they tell someone, they're like, wow, this is the kind of Japanese demureness that all women should have. These stupid bitches who are like, let's go on an actual date and have fun. Maybe you can give me a kiss if I like you. How dare they? They're so dirty. And it's like, what the fuck? No.
That's so demure. You like give up your life and then like here's a quest.
Like
that's
legit.
Pretty demure.
They didn't fucking talk. They've never spoken. He proposes marriage. She's like, yes, but only if we don't talk for several years. And like, there's like an emergency where like he has to like tell her something. I think it's like a health emergency. And like, he really, really struggles with like, do I text her that like, hey, I almost died. I need your help. I think he does. And like, everyone's disappointed with him.
Oh, because now it's not sexy now or whatever the rule was.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. Like, it's really stomach turning. Very just awful. I mean, like, it sucks because the story is kind of interesting when they don't do that, and it is fun to learn about how manga is made. But
I have another one I want to add. This is a little more implicit in terms of like reactionary politics, but I love games where you like manage supply chains and like extract resources out of the ground and turn them into things. And like it's inherently a reactionary view of the world because it's like, oh, everything is inputs and outputs. That's it. I can't get enough of that shit. I love it. I like to see a tree go from like lumber to fine lumber and then quality lumber.
Like, Cookie Clicker, no joke, I think has the worst politics of any piece of media ever on purpose, which is just like, Numby must go up. We are slaves to the Numby. There's no amount of production that is adequate. The goal at any given time is to double the production that we have now, no matter what. And, like, those politics aren't, like, really stated overtly, but, like, it's clear. And there are some tongue-in-cheek references to it in the sort of, like, flavor text. But fucking, man, when the Numby go up, I hoot, I love it. Give me more.
Yep.
All right, we gotta move on. Oh, hell. Oh, this is an actual real question that is, like, I don't actually know. We'll have to talk about it. This is from Damoon Rules, who is the king. Damoon Rules whips ass. Damoon Rules is also a pure Platinum Club member in that he was a Shovel Quest fan prior to Sickos.
Got us both into sumo.
Yeah, he got us both into sumo. He's a sumo sicko. He's the king of sumo. He answers all the sumo questions. When we have sumo questions, now we're sumo geniuses because he told us all the answers. And so he asks, when someone replies to one of my tweets, I find myself often stuck between the anxiety of not replying and seeming like I'm ignoring someone, or replying every time and seeming like I have to get the last word in. What's the proper protocol for ending a conversation online? This is actually like, fuck, I don't know, dude. This is tough.
Well, I feel like if we could answer this, I could maybe get 8 hours of sleep. Like, I think, I think if we fucking iron this out, I'm going to be a lot more consistent.
Yeah, what this question is asking is like, hello, how can I look at posts in a way that's healthy and sustainable? It's like, well, there's your problem. You were looking at posts.
It sucks to boil everything down to the reductive virgin Chad dynamic, but it's the thing is, like, if you're already asking yourself these questions, you've lost. And I empathize because I'm also like every second of my life I'm like worried that I am breaking someone's slight expectation at all times, and I'm always like doing these micro adjustments. So like I say this as someone who's firmly on the wrong side of the fence.
I feel like a good rule of thumb, and like this is not actually a good rule of thumb. It's just what I do, and I clearly doesn't work because of my horrible brain is still like this. But basically, like if I see a reply and I can like think of a funny joke to make based on it, well, I'll do it. And then if there's another funny joke that gets replied to that, and I have a funny joke, I'll do it. And really, just as soon as I can't think of anything funny, as soon as I don't have anything to say, I'm just like,
you throw down a smoke bomb and you're gone.
Yeah, poof. The thing is, often I just don't have anything funny to say because I'm shitty at jokes. So I'll just leave things completely unresponded to. I don't know. I mean, it depends. A lot of the replies are just like a riff. And like I think when someone riffs and you like it, you can just give it a like and be like, I liked your joke and move on.
Yeah.
But then there's also replies where like someone's actually trying to fucking talk to you. And I think that is the thornier place because like courtesy says, well, you got to talk to them back. But like, what if I don't want to? Like, what if this person wants to keep talking to me? I think this is the crux of what Damoon Rules is asking.
Yeah. It would be a lot easier if the only thing you could reply with was, dang, that's wild. I actually like, I completely love like posts when there's just like a reply like, damn, that's wild. Or just like, hey, good job, man.
Your dick looks really normal.
I think we can like remove the anxiety from this if just we normalize that's a good post as a reply. If ever, in fact, that should be the only reply.
Yeah. It's like, damn, that's wild, but like it's clearly not sarcastic.
You're saying, damn, that's wild, but your thumb is up. You're giving a thumbs up as you say it.
God. So to answer your question, Moon Rules, we have no fucking clue. There's no answer. These systems are designed to crush you. That's the purpose, and you can't make it work because they don't want you to. So let's move on to the next question. This is from a backseat mangaka career advisor. And it is, why do mangaka rely on major publications for work? In this day and age, aren't they capable of communicating with their audience directly through social media and cutting out the middleman? I, of course, would be too pussy for that, though. I mean, isn't this the case? Like, this is like the question that's been said of all media with like gatekeeping publishers since the internet was invented. Like, well, why can't we just cut out the middleman? And the answer is, the same reason that this podcast doesn't have 100,000 subscribers, which is inertia. If you are not famous, you will not become famous. If you are famous, anything you do will be a success. And publishers are famous. And so if a publisher says, you work with us, you're secondhand famous. Mm-hmm. And then you got the inertia of success. Yeah. Like there's the guy who made One Punch Man who just like straight up fucking posted his doodles on the internet and became rich and had his work lauded worldwide just because it happened to be that fucking good. Well, that's very much the outlier. That's not what's going to happen if you strike out on your own, unless you also happen to be a once-in-a-lifetime genius.
Yeah, you only see the trajectory of the One Punch Man because you're not also seeing all of the parallels that are like him where nothing happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not even sure that, like, my main concern now in this realm of this question is that, like, is there less gatekeeping now? Because I feel like everything is consolidating in, like, a weird way. So, like, yes, there's probably, like, less individual gatekeeping to production for certain things, but it's all owned by, like, fucking Amazon or something anyway.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What you're saying is it's easier to start producing art and have it be technically available to the public, but like actually getting eyes on a piece of work is harder than ever because there's just like where would you find fucking anything on like Twitter and Amazon, because those are the only sites, and Twitter and Amazon are going to promote shit that is going to be a hit, which is the stuff that a big publisher has.
It's so hard to promote things that Netflix was literally having like trouble getting people to see all the money they were spending on original programming. Like
fucking Casey Green told us that they made an Invader Zim movie. I literally, I was not joking when I said I didn't know that happened.
Right.
I love Invader Zim. I watched it when I was a kid. I would have loved to watch a movie about it. Literally, it was the fucking algorithm was unable to make me aware that existed. No fucking way am I finding an indie comic. Are you kidding me?
And if you do find one, then please support it, of course, and make the number go up like to 101.
Yeah, like it could. Like, it's easy to say and easy to hope that if you just put out a good product, it'll happen. Well, the proof of that not being true is that Chapo Trap House makes more money than us. I think 1,000 times more money than us. They're not 1,000 times better than us. I'll tell you that right now.
They're like 30. It's 30 tops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what I'm saying, even though fucking mangaka who do work with the publishers are killed and not compensated appropriately, and are forced to work in a way that makes them die, I mean, at least they get a salary.
That's true.
Anyway. Oh, man. Here's a question. Who's better at Smash Bros? And the credit on this is, I bet it's Tom. Now, I didn't write this. I swear to God I did not submit this question. But who's better at Smash Brothers? I bet it's Tom. And that's a real tough question to answer. I don't fucking know, dude. It's been a while. We can't test it because it's been too long.
Well, yeah, we can't ever play it again because you can't play online now because your new apartment doesn't have Ethernet by it, so that's never happening again until the vaccine occurs. So we'll never know. I would say it was always like, it was very much a case of I would iterate on like my Donkey Kong game and then you would respond. So like it would literally go day to day.
Yeah, it would be like a switch was flipped back and forth. There would very rarely be matches where it was unclear who was going to win. Like, there would be times when you would be Donkey Kong and I would be Falco, and you'd have like 10, 20 matches. On each one of them, I would just like absolutely demolish you. You would get like one stack on me, maybe. And then you'd be like, damn, switch into Yoshi. And then the exact same thing happened, except now Falco's the one that's getting 2 stacked, 3 stacked.
Yeah. I guess if it's always that one-sided, that to me indicates that neither of us are learning fast enough. But it was kind of always like a steamroll one way or the other.
It's like if I lost at rock, paper, scissors like 100 times in a row, it doesn't indicate that like, oh, you're better at rock, paper, scissors than me. It's like, these guys don't get how to play rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, like something's way wrong. Yeah,
the larger issue too is that like getting steamrolled sucks, but you know that when you do win the next time, you'll steamroll. So obviously you're going to keep playing because it's just like you trading off dopamine hits.
Yeah, and you get like really upset because you've lost like 10 times in a row and haven't even like had a chance to compete. And the real thing to do in this situation is be like, you know, I'm going to take a break. This isn't fun for me. I'm going to take a break. But yeah, because we've glimpsed heaven and we know we can become like God, it's like, no, I must have more punishment. More until I become God again.
Yeah, man. I remember your wife kicked us out one day because you got sick of hearing ape fighting bird sounds. She's like, you're both kicked out. You have to go to the Polish buffet. Don't come back here until you're full of food.
That was fun. That was a good day. Back when we could hang out and be homies. Oh, well. Joe, here's the second to last question. This one is from someone named Joe DeSicko. That's you, actually. And the question is, what's it like working with Joe? Now, this is a very interesting question because I could answer it in the brutally honest way or the sort of jocular friendly way. And I think I'm going to do the jocular friendly way. Joe is a big bag full of slips of paper. And when you work with Joe, what that means is every day you get to put your hand in the big bag and pull out 1 slip of paper. You can't pull out 2 slips of paper in a day. So I say, Joe, let's do something fun. Let's do a fun thing. I put my hand in the bag. Half the slips of paper have written on it, the funniest thing I've ever read in my life. And when I get that out, I hoot, I holler, and I feel so good that the thing we're doing is going to be great. Half the slips of paper say, hey, Tom, you're going to have to do all the work this week. And I go, fuck! No!
Yeah, that's true. That's literally it.
I have learned to basically treat Joe as like a fey being who is birthed anew every single day, and anything that has happened in the past is completely irrelevant, because this is like that Joe died and this is a new Joe. Now this new Joe,
I live in a rogue like hell. Like, I woke up, I lost my arm yesterday, it's back, bitch.
yeah, like the new Joe might remember some past lives, but I cannot depend on that. Like, for example, we have a subscription to a service called Headliner. Now, this is a service that lets you take audio and edit it into little shareable clips on social media that also lets you easily edit a video that would sort of go along with it. Now, Joe did this a few times with early episodes of Anime Sickos. There was actually a really big help in getting people like onboarded onto the show. They were little digestible clips of funny bits that people really liked. And Joe was like, oh, dope. So I'm paying monthly for this service. I'm definitely like, you're going to edit the episodes and release them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like little clips and make Headliner videos. And I'm like, damn, that's awesome. So you may have noticed that never happened. So what I used to think was
the vibes got off.
What I used to think was like, oh, I'll get on Joe's case and like remind him and like ask like, oh, is this something you're going to plan to get back onto at some point? But then I realized that Joe got birthed anew every day, and asking such a question is foolish. So that's what it's like working with Joe. No, the real answer is that it's incredible and a privilege and a delight that it thrills me daily.
It is, and I honestly wouldn't be able to do a lot of my creative output without, like, not just like Tom's structure, but like you have a very like mechanical approach to like, you have a problem solving approach to like everything we do, which is not something I would not normally approach like comedy and stuff from, which I really like. The other thing I kind of like is I've collaborated with a lot of different people, but you're like the first person who's that funny and like your only interest is like sitting with a cat on your tummy. like and also I think like you have, to my knowledge, no serious mental illness, so like when I'm like, oh man, my brain doesn't work, and you're like, damn, that sucks, and like you mean it, and you also don't need to ask any questions. It's so nice, because you're like, when people also have like fucked up brains, they're like, oh man, let me tell you about like this recent thing that set me off, and I'm like, actually I just need Tom to be like, whoa, that's wild.
Yeah. Well, I say, whoa, that's wild. I sort of look at the slip of paper in my hand that says I have to do all the work today, and I'm like, oh well. And hope that tomorrow, when I reach my hand into the bag, I get the funny part again.
The inverse of that, though, is that, like, Tom does sound more organized in many ways, because he is, but, like, when it comes to, like, doing, like, life stuff, you're like, all right, I got a car. Do you got to put gas on the inside? And, like, I'm like, I got you, man.
Like, I learned about winter tires the other day, and I'm like, Joe, I'm not fucking joking right now. I don't even know what the first step would be if I tried to, like, if I, like, even checking if I have winter tires on now. I don't know how to do that shit.
I'm amazed you purchased the car, because, like, the whole time you were doing it, I couldn't stop thinking of, like, well, like, what if Gumby tried to buy a car? He wouldn't be able to close the deal.
Also, I will say that, like, I am good at, like, identifying, like, well, here's the thing we need to fucking do, and, like, it needs to be done now, so let's do it now, and, like, that kind of, like, checking the boxes so that there actually is a product kind of work. But what I don't ever do is, like, think of jokes or write, which you do. You have these fucking notebooks where you just sort of write shit randomly, and you're constantly telling me.
I have goo with no container, and all you do is make containers, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, finally, I have a place to put the ooze.
Like, I remember, this is another symptom of Joe dies and is born anew every day. Like, every, like, week or so, you tell me about some new app that lets you put, like, notes somewhere, and you're like, man, this has really changed my whole process. Oh, man, this has completely changed my process. It's all different now. And I'm like, I don't want to say, like, Joe, you're going to never use this again after 1 month, because that would be rude. But it's true.
Yeah.
Similarly, whenever you're like, damn, I was depressed before, but now I'm groovy. I'm gonna start. I'm really locked in. I'm like, Joe, in 2 weeks you're gonna be depressed again.
Yes. I mean, because like, what is a quote unquote good friend going to do in that situation? It's gonna be like, you're gonna feel great forever. But what is like an amazing friend gonna be like, this sucks because you don't know about the virus. Like,
yeah.
How you're gonna have to find out about it.
Folks, that's been the Q&A episode of Anime Sickos. Thank you so much to all the great listeners who submitted questions. We got to most of them, but we couldn't get to all of them. So if we didn't read your question, we're sorry. We appreciated you asked it. I hope this was a good episode. I think it's pretty fun. I think it's pretty goofy.
It was good. It was the most like personal we've been. We didn't have a framework to discuss a dumb thing.
That's another fucking thing. This is just behind the curtain. The bones of Anime Sicko. This is how the show is so good. It's because when we were first figuring out, like, well, what's the show going to be? The show started with Joe's got so many funny goofs, but no containers. We need to build a container for these goofs. And then let's just do a chat show where you say goofs. The first few episodes were fucking very bad because they were just talking randomly with no structure. And then I hit upon the most genius move, which is we have a topic that we decide on before and like write a bunch of ideas down for before. And then you had a great idea because, you know, my sort of instinct would be like, well, we have the task, let us perform the task until it is done. You had the great idea of, well, why don't we stop in the middle and take stock of how the segment's going and review all of our ideas and see if any of them haven't gotten brought up yet. And if not, bring them up. You take those two great tastes that now taste great together, and you got Anime Sickos, folks.
Yeah. So the secret is like a sixth grader's understanding of cause and effect. But that's fine.
It is. I mean, yo, if you listen to any other podcasts, sixth grade critical thinking is far beyond many of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't continue saying stuff like that or I'll get in trouble. This has been Anime Sicko's Q&A episode. Thank you all for your questions and for listening. I've been Tom, Anime Sicko.
I am Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.